Welcome to the podcast. My name is Max.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Mae, and we were had. Can you believe it?
There are twists and there are turns.
Defleshed is a standard death.
Oh, that's fun.
We were had.
We were.
By golly, we be had. We were had this week by The Disappearance of Maura Murray. Quite a crazy case. It was suggested by a friend of the pod and very funny comedian, Amanda Gale. Thank you, Amanda.
Big ups to... I didn't even know that's true.
Thank you, Amanda.
She's a sweetheart.
She is the sweetest girl. Mm-hmm. Very beautiful as well. I'll
true.
tell her to listen to the first 5 minutes of this podcast.
And then stop, Amanda. Not a second more, because now we're going to start saying mean things.
Stylish and terrible. Okay. All right, so Maura Murray. Maura Murray is like this case that everybody's talking about right now. It's really hot right now.
Is it right now, too?
Oh, well, it's still going on. It's like, it's a cold case.
Okay.
Like, everyone's like, there's a lot of internet sleuths that are obsessed with this case. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, like, I'm going to go like an overview of everything, and we're going to get into our theories on We Were Had, because we know everything. But like, you know, it's not, it might not be as in-depth and rabbit hole-y as some of the other podcasts about this, or some of the other documentaries about this. Just FYI.
And yet it is definitive, and there's no reason to keep investigating after this podcast.
Exactly.
At the end of it, you will know. We're going to have Maura on the pod at the end of the episode. She comes out, and it kind of explains how her life's been.
We have Maura.
Don't. Tell him at the end. Tell him at the end.
Maura, come on out here.
I will say, this is one of the first times, for its first topic, that I'm upset that it's not solved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
What's the first one? Dominic Ramsey, Black Dahlia. All right.
No. At least here's the thing: is like this has no end. It doesn't even have an end. All the other cases at least have an end.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what happened. Even Dyatlov Pass, like they found the bodies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's frustrating when you don't know what happened, but it's frustrating when you don't even know what happened. If that makes sense.
A true disappearance.
Yeah.
This is a true disappearance.
I mean, truly. So Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student completing her junior year at the University of Massachusetts Amherst when she disappeared seemingly into thin air on the evening of February 9th, 2004, following a car crash in Woodsville, New Hampshire, which is about maybe an hour and a half north of Massachusetts.
Thank you for saying that, because I was like, how is she so far?
She's going
up in New
across
Hampshire?
the country.
Okay, so that's like the general story, but there's a lot to unpack in this case. Like Max was saying, like we literally don't know where she was going, why she was going there, or who she was meeting, or where
If
she
she
is.
was meeting someone.
If she was meeting anybody. We know nothing. That's the end of the podcast. No.
We were at.
Okay, so let's back it up a little bit and tell you guys a little bit more background on our girl Maura Murray. So hard to pronounce, Maura Murray. Okay, so she was born May 4th, 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts, which is pretty close to where I lived, and had 3 older siblings. Friends would describe her as like a model student, great athlete. So like all the photos in the media are super like media darling, you know, girl who never did anything wrong type of person.
All-American.
All-American. She had a boyfriend who was her high school sweetheart, and people said that they were super stable, like in the media originally. And spoiler alert. And that they were engaged to be engaged. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's what terrible young couples say when they're cheating on each other.
Yeah.
Oh. Foreshadowing.
And then old couples get engaged when they're cheating on each other.
Yeah.
For real engaged, though.
Yeah. But they're hardcore cheating at that point.
Right, exactly. Let's get it popping. Hardcore cheat on me so we can get engaged. Okay, so after high school, she was accepted into West Point. Big deal, where she studied chemical engineering for only 3 semesters before transferring to UMass Amherst and pursuing her nursing degree. Why the fuck would you leave West Point for UMass Amherst? Good question, Max. Maura got caught stealing from Fort Knox when she was at West Point.
Which is the plot of the movie Goldfinger.
Yeah.
If you don't.
Honestly, not that surprising. 21-year-old girl, or 20-year-old girl, freshman in college. You know, you're at Fort Knox. You're not going to try to swipe like a fucking brochure or something.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. I robbed from Fort Knox. Also, chemical engineering, very difficult major. Not unheard of for a college student to run away from a college and major to do something related, but easier.
Yeah, that's true. Well, nursing isn't related to chemical engineering.
The cousins.
My brain just turns off. I'm just like, chemicals?
That's where I was going.
Science.
Yeah.
So the weirdest part about what she stole from Fort Knox is it was like petty stuff. It was like makeup from the commissary. It's like,
She's not stealing gold.
yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
Just doubloons.
yeah, but like, I don't know. If you're gonna steal fucking makeup, go to CVS.
That's true.
Go to Dwayne Reed.
That's true.
but
I guess it is the thing of like saying I stole from Fort Knox. It's like
Yeah.
taking night classes at Harvard. It's like technically you stole from Fort Knox, but
Yeah.
really no one knows that you stole saline solution or whatever.
Isn't
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
though, Fort Knox is inviting that. Like, why does Fort Knox have Fort Knox lipstick? I mean, you're asking people to take it. Who's wearing Fort Knox lipstick?
That would be fun to be like, I don't even, like, yeah, who is buying that? Military wives?
Republican women?
Wait, is there?
American made.
Kellyanne Conway.
But wait, is there a gift shop at Fort Knox? Is that what's going on? Anyway,
Apparently.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Fort Knox, but
Yeah.
I guess they have a commissary and she was stealing glosses.
Okay.
Anyway, go to Sephora, Maura, anywhere else. So West Point was like, listen, you're out of here. And instead of being expelled and having that on her record, she just decided to transfer instead to UMass Amherst. So when she got to UMass, like you would think like getting caught stealing from West Point and, having essentially been expelled, but like on your own volition would humiliate her into, stop doing petty crimes.
Right.
Incorrect. So
Galvanized her.
yeah. So
This is a villain origin story.
So Maura continued doing some petty crimes, like she was doing improper use of a credit card for processing and using stolen credit card numbers. So I found like some of the information on what she was using those credit cards for, and she called Domino's using a fake card like an insane amount, like too much for one person to eat. So it was theorized that she was using all these fake credit cards to buy from local restaurants, and then she was bulimic.
But is that okay? So she was.
But why
But why
order
does she
the
have
food,
so
then?
much food?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know anything about
Bulimia.
bulimia, but I think she was just woofing Zaz and barfing them up. Hopefully no hot sauce on those Zaz.
The medical definition for bulimia, it just says when you're woofing too many Zaz and you can't keep them down.
Or maybe she was buying it for like everybody in her dorm and she thought she was like super cool, but she was really just like stealing.
Who was she stealing
Got
these
it.
credit cards from?
That's a great question. I don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah. I'm not enough of a mastermind, Yep.
Domino's.
Domino's.
going from Fort Knox to Domino's is really that's a fall from grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so she was buying enough pizza that the local police got involved. Literally. So a police officer set up this sting operation where then he posed as a delivery man, and then once she signed for the pizzas, he charged her with fraud. So that's like kind of a big thing.
What if she was like making a profit, like buying all these pizzas from Domino's and like selling them out of her dorm? Like she was running a Domino's
Ponzi scheme. Well, not a Ponzi scheme. I guess it's just a straight up plan.
She's the Bernie Madoff of UMass, the pizza scene.
Also, like you can't trust delivery men. They're all undercover cops.
Everybody's a
Oh,
cop.
wow.
Yeah.
Or strippers.
What?
Delivery men, strippers. They're like, oh,
Porns.
I'm here for... Oh, no, yeah, but like...
Almost always there to stuff
all
your
delivery
crust.
men are police officers, and all police officers are strippers. How about that?
Wait, what was this? All police officers are strippers.
No, but police officers are all delivery men are police officers.
Right.
All police officers, strippers.
Yes, so that is usually at a bachelorette party. The delivery man comes, reveals
Yeah.
he's a cop, and then reveals that he's a stripper.
By
Okay,
by the transitive property, then the chef is a fireman. Yeah,
Firewoman, Max.
fire person.
A fire person, Max. Do not send up a fire person to save me. I would die in there. Okay, so... So ultimately, she got charged with fraud, kind of a big deal, but they let her off easy and they only gave her 3 months probation. So as long as she kept a straight line, she should be okay. It's not really that big of a deal.
She's getting the real white girl blonde hair treatment
Yeah.
to all of the crimes that she's committing.
Pretty much. But it seemed like she really like blew things out of proportion. I don't know. Like she was freaked out by that 3 months probation, and she was freaked out by having to leave West Point. It's like, I don't know, you're young, you make mistakes.
And this is the reason. Oh, sorry. The Fort Knox one was the reason she transferred.
Yeah.
But then she just keeps going.
But then she just keeps going, and she's like, I'm just going to order thousands of pizzas on
So is
someone
she
else's
just
credit card.
a kleptomaniac? I mean, is it just one of those?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the days before the disappearance. So as a reminder, she disappeared on February 9th. So we're going to go back to February 5th, 2004. So this is 4 days before she disappeared. So Maura has a conversation with her older sister, Kathleen, while she is off duty at her campus security job at UMass. I'm like, wait a minute, they put a student in charge of security?
I thought it was more of like a front desk worker, or like a, you know how the person at maybe like the what did they call it? The
I know what you're talking
student
about.
center, like maybe just like a desk girl.
That's probably more accurate. I was thinking she was like walking around UMass with a gun.
Just working a beat.
I was like, this fucking criminal charged with fraud is just walking around with an armed weapon on her campus.
She starts off as an orientation advisor, and then they're like, well, you've earned this
Right,
machete.
Here's your government-issued knife.
So around 10:30 p.m., while on her shift, Maura reportedly broke down in tears and completely broke down. So her superior arrives at her desk and said that Maura was just, quote, completely zoned out, no reaction at all. She was unresponsive.
Catatonic.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been catatonic in our Weeble heads.
Yeah, it seems to be hand in hand with like bad things happening.
Not a whole lot of chipper people on this podcast. Yeah.
Rainboy was catatonic a lot,
He was
right?
catatonic a lot.
When he got taken by the devil.
Yeah. So the Silent Twins, also pretty catatonic.
Catatonic.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And now Moira.
And now, Moira.
Moira. Her Irish twin.
So the supervisor escorted Maura back to her dorm room around 1:20 a.m. And so she asked her what was wrong, and she could only say 2 words back to her, and they were "my sister."
Mm-hmm.
No context.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen basically explained in October 2017, which is like, yo, you're gonna wait fucking 13 years to tell people what happened on that conversation.
Right.
What the fuck? So maybe her family's hiding something. I don't know. But Kathleen publicly explained the conversation that she had with Maura that made Maura so upset, allegedly. Or maybe it was something else that made her so upset and she's blaming it on her sister, but allegedly. And Kathleen was a recovering alcoholic. That tracks her Catholic family. Irish Catholic. But anyway, so she was
Anyway,
so she was a recovering alcoholic, and she had been discharged from the rehab clinic that she was at. And on her way home, her fiance took her to a liquor store. Great guy.
Yeah.
Which allegedly caused the emotional breakdown of Maura.
right. So she's upset that her sister relapsed.
Yeah,
Essentially.
Which is reasonable.
it's reasonable, but I also wouldn't be
Catatonic.
catatonic.
Yeah, you'd be upset. Right.
But here's the thing. This family's weird. Because at the time, Kathleen told police nothing that would have made her upset. I didn't say anything. I don't recall anything on the phone call that would have made her upset.
Yeah, she was like, we talked about, what we were having for dinner.
And I said a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good fiance, by the way. I wonder if they ended up getting married.
Yeah. Imagine picking
Let's
up
celebrate you getting out of rehab.
This calls for a toast.
Yeah.
Saturday, what happened?
All right, so Saturday, February 7th. So this is 2 days before her disappearance. Maura's father, Fred, arrives at UMass Amherst. He told investigators that he and Maura went car shopping that afternoon and later went to dinner with a friend of his daughter. So the 3 of them. I read that at first being like, wait, what?
I read it as first as he's just going to dinner with her friend.
Same.
I was,
I
okay.
was like, arrest this man.
Yeah.
Like, this is a problem. Okay, so Maura dropped her father off at his motel room, and then she borrowed his car, a Toyota Corolla, and returned to campus to attend a dorm party. She arrived to the party at 10:30 p.m. and at 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, so that same night basically, but in the morning, on February 8th, she left the party, and at 3:30 a.m. when she was driving back to her father's motel, she struck a guardrail on Route 9, causing about $10,000 worth of damage to her father's car. So this girl is just like getting in shit left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Can I just say, maybe the most upsetting thing that I've heard so far is, in the things that I read, it just kept saying she crashed her father's brand new car. His brand new car. This is a Toyota Corolla.
That Toyota Corolla smell.
It's got that new Corolla.
Yeah, $10,000 in damage.
That's the whole car.
That's beyond the
that's
whole
what I was
car.
gonna say. I was like, I didn't even know that. How much does a Toyota Corolla cost? I mean, not much more than $10,000.
I don't.
$12, $300. Yeah.
How much could it cost, Michael?
$10.
$10.
It's a banana. But no, that upsets me because it's like she crashed her father's brand new car, causing $10,000 in damage. That's insane.
That's
Where did you? Are we sure it was a Toyota Corolla?
I mean, she totaled the car. Is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to total the car in addition to. She must have been paying for a new highway.
a new guardrail.
Yeah, right.
And it was platinum, I guess, in that section.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is a high estimate.
Yeah.
Okay, so the responding officer wrote in an accident report that there is no documentation of field sobriety tests being conducted. So it's like, they wrote an accident report, but there was no documentation of anybody testing if she was drunk or not. It's like she's coming home from a fucking dorm party, I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
She was. Another white blonde hair girl.
Yeah, not
treatment.
even getting the test.
Yeah, she was rattled, but didn't seem drunk.
Yeah.
She kept burping, but I guess it was like nerves.
She was slurring her words. She asked me to take her home.
Yeah, we took a shot to kind of calm her down.
So Maura was driven to her father's motel, I guess by the police, or maybe the tow truck, and stayed in his room the rest of the morning. So at about 4:49 a.m., there was a cell phone call placed to her boyfriend, who was out of state at the time, from her father's phone. So the participants and the content of the phone are unknown. Like the contents of the phone conversation are unknown. So
She called the boyfriend at the motel
from her dad's phone.
from her dad's phone.
Or he called the boyfriend. I don't know.
Odd.
Odd.
I can't believe I can't think that he took this well. Massachusetts Irish Catholic dad, you total his brand new Corolla.
I mean, Irish Catholics and their Corollas.
Boy, oh boy, the old saying. You know?
Give me a potato and a Corolla, and I'm a happy man.
Whiskey, potato, and Corollas. That's the Massachusetts state flag.
I heard the Corollas run on Guinness.
All right, so later that morning, Fred Murray learned that the damage to his vehicle would be covered by his auto insurance. That's great. He rented a car, he dropped Maura off at the university, and departed back to Connecticut. By the way, her parents were divorced, and I don't see any mention of her mom anywhere in the reports.
Yeah, I
never
noticed
read
that
anything
too.
about her either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she die, and I just missed that? I don't know.
There's no mention of it. You would think that if she didn't have a relationship with her mom, wouldn't that be part of your emotional state?
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, because that's such a big focus of this.
Yeah, I don't get it.
The main event. I like that highlight of it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Anyway, so the big main event. So this is the day of her disappearance, February 9th, 2004. So she crashed her dad's car, yada, yada. And here we are on the day that she disappeared. So after midnight on Monday, February 9th, Maura used her personal computer to search MapQuest, throwback, for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. God, if we still had to use MapQuest, I don't even know how I'd get to your apartment.
I wouldn't be here right now.
No. And we're talking MapQuest too.
Yeah.
We're not even talking actual maps.
Oh.
Like MapQuest at the time was like, oh my God, look at there. Yeah. We're all Magellan over here. Yeah.
For some reason, I remember Garmin being worse than MapQuest. Like having the original, shitty GPS made it more confusing because you would just be in water. You were just in the trees, your car.
It's go left. You're in the forest.
And it would not have signal in the most important areas. You'd be in the weird, tiny dirt roads and it'd be like, well, you're on your own.
Little theory.
Yeah.
Maybe this whole thing can be explained by the fact that MapQuest is so inefficient.
Maybe.
Oh god.
All right. So the first reported contact Maura had with anyone was on February 9th, but it wasn't until 1 p.m. when she emailed her boyfriend, quote, "I love you more, stud. I got your messages, but honestly, I didn't feel like talking too much to anyone. I promise to call you today, though. Love you, Maura."
It's a cute email.
It's a cute email. I mean, I don't talk to Mark like that.
This is 2004. It's a different time.
You're not engaged to be engaged.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a whole thing.
It's a very serious
Yes.
commitment to be engaged. To be
Yes,
engaged.
yes, yes,
My
yes.
email to him would be like, "Is it coming or what? What do I have to do?" God, that'd be so embarrassing to disappear and then have people read my emails to people.
All your searches, all your
My
emails.
searches.
Oh, God.
Yeah, all your map quests.
All my searches are like, is QAnon right?
Greggy, stink butt, and a banana bread angel.
Maine Coon Angel.
She spent 4 hours on this day just looking at Maine.
One time, Mark.
Sitting next to a Maine Coon, she's looking at pictures of other Maine
Yeah.
Coons.
Does this tell us anything about the disappearance? No, but what is going on here?
Mark caught me once looking at photos of Greg on my phone while petting Greg on my couch.
That's good.
Yeah, and I've also been posting other cats on my Instagram.
Oh, I've
recently.
noticed.
Yeah, I just like these cats, and I'm like, oh, everybody should see this. And I'm thinking, I'm like, that's like Mark like it, like put like hot girls on his Instagram, and he's like, I think people should see this.
Are you fucking Greg?
Well, no, but like I
It's not like that at
It's not like that at all.
but I feel like I'm like cheating on Greg with all these other cats.
Oh,
Well, I guess
yeah.
it'd be more like if a mom was posting on Facebook about another, like someone else's kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Being like,
Look at the
Ben's-
accomplishments.
My
of
mom being
Ben.
like, Ben's podcast is really good.
Right.
Right.
Which that would just be a lie.
It wouldn't be that weird because we have the same podcast, but also,
I'm talking about give me a name.
yeah, right. No. I got it.
Oh, all right. Please continue
Okay,
with the story.
anyway, so continuing with the story. So she also made a phone call inquiring about renting a condo at Bartlett, New Hampshire, which is a condo that her family and her had vacationed at the past. And telephone records indicate that the call lasted 3 minutes. The owner did not rent the condo to Murray, and at 113, I almost said 113. 113
West Point,
PM.
baby.
Yeah. Maura called a fellow nursing student for reasons unknown. I'm like, hello, a fellow nursing student. Why don't you tell the fucking reason?
Yeah. My thing too is you later find, and we'll get into it, I'm sure, but she doesn't have any money to her name, so I don't know how
Yeah.
she plans on renting out an apartment. Like why she's
Exactly.
asking about that.
I don't know.
She also brought school books with her. Anyway, please
Yeah,
continue.
okay. So we're going to continue. So about 1:30 p.m., Maura emails a work supervisor of the nursing school faculty that she would be out of town for the week due to a death in her family. No one in her family had died.
Right.
So she also said that she would contact them when she returned at 2:05 p.m. Maura called a number which provided record information about booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont. Beautiful place if you haven't been.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's great. The call lasted 5 minutes, and then at 2:18, she telephoned her boyfriend and left a voice message promising him they would talk later. So it sounds like there's like trouble in this relationship. Like, love you too, babe, but I don't want to talk right now.
Well, am I allowed
We'll talk later.
to say there is trouble in the relationship?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So we do know that he was cheating on her,
Yes.
and we know that she was cheating on him.
Yeah.
So there is possibly some,
Motive.
or just this image in general of them being in a perfect engaged to be engaged relationship might be not complete.
Not insane, or it's not out of the ordinary. I can think of at least 2 different girls that I went to college with that were in like relationships from high school, stayed with them, are engaged or married now, and were cheating on them all throughout college.
Oh, what are their
Oh,
names?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are their names?
They were both known to cheat on each other. You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
then they like had this like beautiful Instagram life, but it's like,
I mean, college. What are you not going to cheat on your boyfriend in college? You know what I mean?
well, like, I think it's nice to get a little steam out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so too. Otherwise, you're just going to cheat later. when
There's
like,
resentment.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come
Who
on.
needs
You don't
that?
want that. Please continue.
Okay. So, okay.
This email I don't know why people love harping on the email being like, she said there was a death in her family. No one died in her family. So weird. That's not crazy. You lie to your professors if you want to take a vacation.
Oh, do you have
That's
any
very
idea how
true.
many
Yeah.
times my grandma died in
Yeah,
college?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people are like, can you believe she would say this? Make it up. Like, this is the same excuse anyone uses for anything ever.
That's a good point. I hadn't
Yeah.
put that together. That's really funny.
Also, keeping it as vague as a death in the family.
death in
yeah,
the
so
that's
they can't. Yeah,
smart.
like, that was always my thing. Like, I'm having family issues.
Yeah, it's a
Because
family
what are they going to say?
emergency.
What's the family emergency? They're not going to say that.
Like, everything that's like built up to make her seem like a kleptomaniac isn't that absurd.
No, I stole lip glosses.
It's people.
I said my Grammy died.
People steal
Yeah.
things. You'd lie to your professors about having a death in the family. And let's be honest, 21-year-old gal, she's a little emotionally all over the place. Can we
Oh,
be honest
she's
about
a mess.
ourselves? Yeah, she's a mess.
She's a mess. So anyway, Maura hit the road in her car And she packed a few things.
Oh, I was confused about one tiny thing. So
me.
this is her car.
The one that is famously not safe to drive because her father had originally, if you remember, her father came to try to buy her a new car.
Yes.
And the agreement was that he would come back again to buy the new car like the following week or
Got
something.
it. Okay. Just so this is her. She's
borrowed-
had this car for a bit.
Yeah, she borrowed his car because her car wasn't like good to drive.
It was a
essentially.
1996 Saturn sedan.
Which is a mint condition. Good year for the Saturns.
Yeah.
But what isn't a good year for the Saturns?
No Corolla, let me tell you about.
Saturn just hit after hit after hit.
So in her car, she packed her clothing, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills.
The essentials.
The essentials.
She got booze too.
Well, she picked it up later on. So, and then her room was searched later on after she disappeared. So I'm going a little bit ahead here, but the campus police discovered that most of her belongings had been packed in boxes and the art removed from the walls. It wasn't clear whether Maura packed them that day, but the police at the time asserted that she had packed them between Sunday night and Monday morning. I don't know why they would know that.
Here's the thing: is this is another one where it's like might be a normal thing. Maybe it wasn't. It might have just not have been unpacked. Like it was February.
Yeah.
She just got back to school.
Yes. So,
Oh, yeah.
and that is an important
Yeah,
detail here,
yeah.
right? So school is starting up right now.
Yeah.
So that makes it even weirder that she's hitting the road.
It's weird that she's hitting the road. It's weird that she's like doing that, but it's also not that insane that like a college student just hasn't put the art up yet. A week or two back on campus.
For sure.
Yeah.
People don't. The cops make a mistake at every turn here. Nobody's thinking outside the box.
I mean, every story we've ever done, the cops are making mistakes
Yeah.
at every turn. That's
The
why they're
only,
unsolved.
only good
These
move they
cases.
made this entire story is dressing up as a delivery man.
Yeah, of course they caught the credit card thing. They're brilliant with a sting operation for that.
Pizzas.
Yeah. This girl's been gone for like 20 years. They have no idea.
Ridiculous. Okay, so on top of one of the boxes was a printed email. So she printed out an email to her boyfriend indicating trouble in their relationship, as we've discussed. And basically, like, he wasn't faithful in the relationship, either was she. But I couldn't find what the actual email said for some reason. Maybe it was the one that I already read. I don't know. The fuck?
It was, I think I heard something about what it was, but I don't remember.
I don't
Alright.
recall
Exactly.
another email in addition to the one you read.
Wasn't she also, didn't they also mention that she was known, this wasn't that out of the ordinary for her to just fuck off spontaneously? Because like in high school, I remember hearing something about in high school, she just like ditched school and like went to Boston for the day and just hung out there. And all
Yes.
her friends were like, where is she? So,
Alone?
yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
did you? Am
Yeah,
am
no,
making
you're
that up?
correct.
That's
Yeah.
so. It's like honestly, I respect the game.
I would do that, but like with friends. I wasn't a lunatic.
Yeah, just hit the road for Boston by myself. Yeah.
Also, Boston. Ugh.
Especially like not to be like this person, but like you. I mean, when you're in high school, you shouldn't be traveling alone as a girl. That's like 101.
Yeah.
You know
or
what I
even
mean?
as a guy. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a weird, You're not.
Do you not feel safe?
It's not even about feeling. No, I don't think I do. As in high school?
No, for sure. I would never have done that. That's terrifying.
It's terrifying. All right, so 3:30 p.m., she whips off the campus in her 1996 Saturn sedan. So notable is that the classes at the university have been canceled due to a snowstorm. Who the fuck is peeling out in a Saturn sedan during a snowstorm? Especially
She
a girl from
wanted
Mass,
to
she
get
knows
somewhere.
better. Yeah. But like, you don't do that.
I don't. Sedan, is that even the Saturn sedan? Is that even? That's got to be front wheel drive. That's got to be a real shit box.
Oh, yeah.
That's not gripping
That's
the road at all.
sliding all
Yeah.
over the
Oh, no,
place.
that's
Yeah.
a horse and buggy.
It just runs on a AA battery.
It's a Flintstones car.
So 3:40 p.m., she withdraws all of her money that was in her name at the time, which was like $280 from an ATM. College.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
That's not bad.
She's killing it. Footage from that ATM shows that she's alone. So then she goes to a nearby liquor store where she purchases alcoholic beverages, including Bailey's Irish Cream,
Delicious.
College,
College.
Kahlua, again college, vodka, and a box of Franzia wine. Wow, this whole thing. She's got great taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, let me just say that a lot of people are like, they love saying like, this is not alcohol for one person. Let me just say, college girl, a little weekend in the snowy mountains.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's enough. Let me tell you that.
Going Bailey's and Kahlua is
Yeah.
a move.
That's a move.
I
To be
think
like, this is not repetitive.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's putting them all into one. I'm excited to see what she's doing with these.
Oh, she's working magic
yeah.
here.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can go with it.
Franzia vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's in one cup. Could you imagine?
Oh, man. And an olive.
They call it a dirty snowman. Please continue.
All right. So she was alone at that purchase as well. So then she left Amherst at between 4 and 5 on her way to New Hampshire. So she called to check her voicemail at 4:37 p.m. which was the last recorded use of her cell phone ever. I don't understand. She had to call to check her voicemail. Was there like a voicemail in her?
In
2004?
2004,
Oh, that was
you
the
had
thing.
to call.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your cell phone. You had to call your cell phone's voicemail.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Or at least it was one way of getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah. How else would you have gotten it? Like it wasn't part of the thing.
Oh, that wasn't even a thing?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, 2004, people do have flip phones for sure.
Yeah, we were 14. I remember like flip.
Well, we weren't.
No.
Some of us were younger than that.
Okay, you were 12.
Yes.
Yeah. Let it be known.
Might have been 11.
Okay.
Please continue.
Check the month.
It's February. Yep. My birthday is February 25th. So
You would have been very close to 12. All right, please continue.
All right, so there's no indication that she had informed anyone of her destination or any evidence that she'd even chosen one because she didn't make a reservation at any of these places. And by the way, she has like fucking $200. Where was she planning on staying?
yeah. Unless rent was way lower in 2004. I don't think that's true.
I don't think so. Okay, so let's get into the disappearance. This is the big to-do. We finally made it. So 7:27 p.m., there was a report of a car accident. So sometime at 7:27 p.m. in Woodsville, New Hampshire.
When was it?
What?
7:27 p.m.
Yeah.
Let's hone in here.
27.
27. Eastern Standard?
No.
Yep.
PST. So a resident heard a loud thump outside of her house. And so through her window, she could see that there was a car up against a snowbank along Route 112. She called the sheriff's department at 7:27. Man, this lady acts fast, to report the accident. So according to the 911 log, the woman claimed to have seen a man smoking a cigarette inside of the car. However, she later stated that she had not seen a man nor a person smoking a cigarette, but rather had seen what appeared to be a red light glowing from inside the car, potentially from a cell phone. Lady,
Why would you say that then?
I don't know.
I saw a light in the car then.
Maybe
if you're
this
not
woman's
sure.
involved.
There's a lot of people involved here. It's very also Route 112 is misleading because I had thought, for me at least, because I'm picturing a highway.
Yeah.
It sounds like because there's like residents that have heard this.
It's like a desolate area.
But it's also a street with like people that live there. It's a residential street.
It's a residential street, but it's like in the middle of fucking East Butthole, New Hampshire. There's like nothing around at all.
Yeah.
But
And
it
these people
does-
are all like nosy and like hills have
Yeah.
eyes kind of people.
Well, yeah, that's like one of the things that the guy that stops that I'm sure you'll get into is it looks like a creep. I wouldn't
yeah.
want him his help either. Let me tell you that.
But you're exactly right. It does get into this idea of like, that's not, if you're going a long distance, you would be on exactly what you said. You'd be on some sort of highway. Like, why is she looking at houses?
It's route nonsense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that kind
Sometimes
of does
though,
go
like,
through.
When I'm going skiing in Vermont, sometimes like you have to go on these routes. That,
Oh,
like,
okay,
You're in like
okay.
the backwoods forever. So like sometimes it just is that way.
Got it. Okay.
It's also MapQuest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting her down a bad path.
She's driving this way, then she's got to take a canoe. And it's just a whole
It's a
thing.
triathlon
Yeah.
to get there.
So at about the same time, another neighbor saw the car as well, and someone walking around the vehicle. She witnessed a third neighbor pull up alongside the car. So this whole town needs something to do, but they were all very involved in this car that crashed. So that neighbor, the third neighbor, who was a school bus driver returning home, noticed the young woman who was not bleeding or visibly injured, but cold and shivering because she probably didn't pack well because this girl is just all over the place. So he offered to telephone for help, and she asked him not to call the police. One report actually says that she pleaded, probably because of her probation period from the credit cards, so she didn't want the police to be involved, yada, yada, whatever. She's probably a little tipsy.
It's a long
That's
drive. You're not going to have a
speculation.
drink?
Yeah, you got all those Baileys.
Yeah. A little Franz for the drive.
Oh, yeah.
Calms me down for a long drive.
Francie's not bad.
It's just fine. Bailey's is a milkshake. I mean, Bailey's is delicious.
Bailey's is a drinking liquor. That's a driving liquor. Sorry.
So she claimed, she was like, I already called AAA. AAA has no record of such call, and there was no cell phone service. So he was like, I know for a fact that there's no cellular reception in this area. So the bus driver went home, and he still called the police to call in the accident. Because he's like, this woman's lying to me for some fucking weird reason. She needs help from the police, so I'm just going to call the fucking police. So his call was received at 7:43 p.m. So it's been about like 20 minutes since the crash.
I would keep driving past if I saw this happen.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it happened outside your house, be like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And then close the window.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? Maybe that is a product of us living in a city where all sorts of weird stuff happens all the time. Maybe if you're in a small town, it's like, hey, this is the event. This is 2004. Yeah.
This is what like when you come out in the bathrobe, everyone's kind of like,
yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see it? Yeah.
Dog's running out. No, Skipper. Skipper. What's a good dog name?
It's a good dog name.
It's not bad.
Baxter.
You put a little hat on.
Rex.
Rex. I knew a human named Rex.
He's probably in jail now, huh?
Well, he went to jail and then he died of a heroin overdose.
Oh, no.
I shouldn't be laughing. I know him personally.
That's awful. Jesus.
He was my brother's friend. Anyway. Okay, so back to Maura. So.
Poor Rex.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. So, okay. Another local resident driving home from work claims she passed the scene around 7:37 p.m., so before the call was to the sheriff, and saw a police SUV parked face-to-face with Maura's car. But that would be before they were even called, so this is a lie. And it's like, I don't know, she just, witnesses claim contradicts the official police log, and the official police log have the police arriving 9 minutes later from when she said. And like, how would you clock that? So maybe her like car clock was wrong. You know what I mean? Anyway. Okay, so 7:46, the police arrive at the scene. So according to the police, no one was inside or around the car. The car had been impacted by a tree on the driver's side of the vehicle, severely damaging the left headlight and pushing the car's radiator into the fan, rendering it inoperable. So she totaled another fucking car.
Oh, no. 2 for 2, huh?
2 for 2.
Gorgeous cars.
Yeah.
She fucking totaled 2 antiques.
Yeah, Porsches. So, and also the car was locked. So inside and outside the car, he discovered red stains that looked to be red wine. It's like, okay, well, let's not go by looking. Let's test that.
Yeah. They do that a lot here.
He just like licks it. He's like, that's Franzia.
Franzia. Boxed.
Yeah. Franzia.
Good year.
97. Yeah. A lot of tannins.
I licked the microphone.
Okay, so in addition, he found a AAA card issued to Maura, gloves, compact discs, makeup, stolen, diamond jewelry, and driving directions to Burlington, Vermont.
Okay.
Maura's favorite stuffed animal, which is so sad to think, like, you know, she's only 21. She still has a favorite stuffed animal. And a book called Not Without Peril, which is about climbing the White Mountains, which was the direction that she was headed. So I'm like, is this bitch trying to, like, climb the White Mountains with a bunch of Kahlua?
Isn't it also like an Into the Wild type book? Like, isn't it not a happy ending kind of thing? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think
it was about people getting lost or bad things happen to people trying to climb the mountains. Like that was covered in the book.
Okay.
Right, but then the dad says later on, like, "Oh, that was just her favorite book." Like that's ominous though.
Yeah, the dad's
Yeah.
jib. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Just got a bad vibe from reading about it.
He lost his daughter.
I don't like the cut of his jib.
All right, all right.
All right. Anyway, so
I don't like the cut of it. His jib. I don't like it.
we hate it. Okay, so missing were Maura's debit cards, credit cards, and cell phone, none of which have been located or used since her disappearance. The police later reported that some of the bottles of purchased liquor were also missing. I was like, AKA, they took them home.
Oh no, the Kahlua is gone.
Yeah. That's so weird.
Free Franzia.
I could never afford it.
Not on a police officer.
I mean, we all know that. Okay, so in summary, she went off the road. Her car hit a tree. At that point, a person came along who was driving a bus. It was a neighbor. They asked if she needed help. She refused. 10 minutes later, the police showed up. She was gone. So some search efforts. So she and by the way, there's so many people that have eyes on this car. You know, all these hills have eyes, people up in New Hampshire.
At all.
Whatever, they're looking at her. And so it's like, when would she just disappear into the woods when there's people, there was like multiple witnesses. So
right.
Did they all just like turn their back and then she's gone? It's weird. When did she walk off?
Also, the window is how many minutes? Like 7?
7 minutes.
She's really booking it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Just sprinting.
But then I'm going to get into the search efforts that were very extensive. So you would think like if she booked it into the woods, they would have found her body.
Extensive, but not immediately.
Good point.
It wasn't like that next day. That night, and they were like, they drove up and down and said, well, I don't see her.
Gone.
Flashed a flashlight.
Nah.
She's gone.
Yeah, so it took
maybe one of the neighbors grabbed her too.
That's very, very plausible. So at 12:36 p.m. the following day, February 10th. So you're right, it took a little while. There was a be on the lookout report for her issued, and she was reported as wearing a dark coat, jeans, and a black backpack. A voicemail was left on Fred Murray's home answering machine, so that's her dad, at 3:20 p.m. stating that her car had been found abandoned. He was working out of state and didn't receive this call. And then at 5 p.m., her older sister contacted him to tell him about the situation. And then he contacted the police and, blah, blah, and was basically told that if she was not reported safe by the following morning, then the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department would start a search, which I find really funny. That's what it's called.
Game.
It's rare to get both fish and game together. Which Mitch is the best guys.
Yeah, it's a meeting of the minds.
Yeah, they got the rods and the bows. Just out.
So apparently, the police.
The bows.
It's old timey in New
Hampshire. Yeah. They're just.
But so he called and they were like, yeah, if she's not reported safe by tomorrow morning, and then at 5:17, so that's 17 minutes after he called, she was referred to first as missing by the Haverhill police.
Mm-hmm. Have the Haverhill police ever had another case before this? Because it
literally,
seem like
they're like, look at my fishing guy out here. He's got a good.
They're fish and game.
Yeah.
They're fish and game.
He's got a good deal on worms.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so February 11th, Maura's father arrived before dawn in Haverhill at 8 a.m. At the New Hampshire Fish and Game, these experts, basically the, bomb squad, the Murrays and other people began to search. So a police dog tracked the scent from one of Murray's gloves 100 yards east of where the vehicle had been discovered, but then lost the scent. Let's pick it up, dog. Let's pick it up.
Or it does say something.
Yeah.
100 yards down the road, so it just stops in the middle of the road.
Well, it was east though, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means like into the woods or into the...
It was on the... I read it as it was on the road.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it supports maybe she was
picked up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that suggested to police that she left the area in a car. So somebody picked her up. Whether it was somebody she was meeting on purpose or she was just hitchhiking, we don't know.
Talk about terrible luck.
I know.
If it was a kidnapping.
Oh.
7-minute window, she just got snooched.
Yeah, and in one of the podcasts, they said, like, well, that happens. Like, that actually is a thing.
In that area? Sure. You keep saying Hills has eyes. I'm never going to New Hampshire.
Right.
Live free or get kidnapped.
Oh, yeah. That's what being free is.
Well, you're free
until
to be in someone's basement.
Let him do what he wants. Let him kidnap.
Come on. It's New Hampshire.
It's his constitutional right. All right. Let's see. So then at 5 p.m., Maura's boyfriend and his parents, this guy, they arrive in Haverhill. And he's interrogated in private, and then he was joined by his parents for questioning.
Right.
So 7 p.m., the police said they believed that Maura came to the area either to run away or attempt suicide, which her family believes is unlikely.
Right. So the police are really pushing this argument that she's mentally unstable.
Yeah.
But the parents, the dad, is very, very defensive about that.
Yes.
Very typical for police to be like, it's just a girl. She was just running away.
Exactly.
She got stressed. You know how women, you know what I mean? The cops were like, oh, maybe it was her time with the month. You know how, bitches be shopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that happens all the time when family members are like, no, I'm telling you, like, they would never do this. And they're like,
Right.
listen, we know your sister better than you.
Listen, she had a vagina. She ran away. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do think that there are two sides of it where it's also, there is a chance, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but there is a chance that the family also is in denial or didn't notice
True.
just how bad of a state the daughter might have been in.
Of course. I mean, that happens. That's likely as well. So, Maura's boyfriend had turned off his cell phone during his flight to Haverhill, which I don't understand. I'm like, oh, wait. Yeah, never mind.
During the flight.
You're
and
then so at some point during that time, he received a voicemail that was believed to be the sound, well, he believed to be the sound of Maura sobbing. Don't like that. The call was traced to a calling card issued to the American Red Cross. So I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I have no idea what that means.
A calling card. Like, at the time, didn't you just use? You can just get like a prepaid SIM card and pop it in a Flippy Boy.
Well, I think that, I guess.
Why do I talk like this?
I don't know. At first, I was about to say, like, were you in the wire? And at the same time, then I'm going through the wire, and I'm like, I don't think they ever said Flippy Boy.
when they're running drugs, they use Flippy Boys, so the police can't track it.
Does that mean like she puts a calling card into a payphone?
No,
They
like
still have
into
payphones.
like they would just like pop a SIM card in like just a Nokia if you wanted to play some Snake and make a couple calls.
Wow.
2004, baby.
Wow. A lot more anonymity in 2004.
You can get away with so much.
Get away with, yeah, please.
Boof. You could just disappear if you wanted to.
Anyway, so a week after Maura's disappearance, her father and her boyfriend were interviewed by CNN's American Morning. Maura's family expanded their search into Vermont and basically was pissed that the authorities hadn't been informed of her disappearance up there because they were pretty reasonably close to the Vermont border. Especially if they thought that she took off in another car. It's like, okay, well, let's alert the fucking surrounding places.
Not to keep derailing things, but what's upsetting here is how much of a problem human trafficking is. And yes, this girl deserves all the attention in the world, and I'm glad that people got behind it and tried to find her. But you know how often they don't pay attention to stories when it's poor people or people of color, when they just get snatched up and
True.
disappear, and literally nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
she's
Certainly.
blonde and she can run around a track, suddenly it's like, well, what could have happened to this golden angel?
Right.
Sure. I mean, it should, right, exactly. The attention should be on everyone.
Totally. So the Fish and Game, we talked a big shit, but they conducted a second ground search and air search using a helicopter with thermal image camera tracking dogs and cadaver dogs. Why are they called the Fish and Game?
I don't like it.
I don't know. I'm just picturing a fishmonger who just moonlights as a cop. I don't really.
Right.
Is she?
But this seems like pretty legit.
Is she classified as
sure.
fish or game?
Game, I think. Right? She's a mammal.
She's got to be game. Yeah.
So Maura's older sister discovered a ripped white pair of women's underwear lying in the snow on a secluded trail next to French Pond Road on February 26th, but DNA tests found that the underwear did not belong to Maura. So I'm like, whose underwear were those?
This happens all the time in the area, apparently.
Apparently. So, let's see, like what else? So in April, Haverhill police informed, let me go back a little bit. So Fred Murray returned nearly every weekend to continue searching, which is really sad.
That's so sad.
That's awful.
I like the cut of his jib.
Yeah.
I've changed my tune.
But then listen to how weird this is. So in April, Haverhill police informed him that there had been many complaints of trespassing on private property. Let's look into those people. Who's like, fuck this father looking for his daughter. He's on my property. I'm like, what are you hiding on your property?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? They're like, other bodies, not hers. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. There was another disappearance of a woman named Brianna Maitland in Montgomery, Vermont, which is 66 miles away. And it drew comparisons from the media and law enforcement due to similarities in the disappearances. But the state police have stated that there's no links between the two cases, which it's like, why not?
How do you know that? Right.
Yeah.
Cop out.
It's stupid. So, in a press release, the police stated that Maura was headed for an unknown destination and may have accepted a ride in order to continue to that location, adding that they discovered no evidence that a crime had been committed and they dismissed the possibility of a serial killer being involved.
Okay.
Why? You know what I mean? All right, so we're going to skip forward to the summer. So July 2014.
2004. Yeah.
2004, sorry. A man allegedly, that'd be way far in advance. Yeah. 2004. So a man allegedly gave Murray's father, so Fred, a rusty stained knife that belonged to the man's brother, who had a criminal past and lived less than a mile from where the car was discovered.
And are we to believe that at this point, basically, the only investigation going on, or the main investigation going on, is from Maura's family? That the cops are kind of...
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The cops are like, she took off, she fucked up.
They've got a narrative, and they're sticking to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they're, like, severely underqualified
for a case like
this.
Yeah.
I mean, if internet sleuths can't solve it, then...
If we in the community can't crack this, what hope did Fish and Game have?
So the man's brother and his brother's girlfriend were said to have been acting strangely after the disappearance, and the man's brother claimed that he believed the knife had been used to kill Maura. So imagine being the dad and being like, what the fuck? So, like, you believe this, you want to have, like, some hope, but at the other side of the thing, like, you don't want to think that your daughter had been stabbed to death by these hillbillies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, every single week, a family member tries to throw a family member under the bus.
They love it.
There's nothing they love more. Terrible crime. That's Johnny.
Yeah. So
that's why they call him Johnny Terrible Crime.
So several days after the knife was given to Maura's dad, the man's brother, the one he was talking about, allegedly scrapped his Volvo. So he sold it off for parts, or put it into a junkyard, whatever. So family members of the man who turned in the knife claimed that he made up the story in order to obtain reward money in the investigation, and that he had a history of drug use, which it's like, I don't know, at least look into it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So in 2005, so a year from then, Fred Murray petitioned the governor, Craig Benson, at the time, for help in the search, and appeared on the Montel Williams show. Remember that?
Oh, great show.
Great stuff.
To publicize
great
the case.
From school at home show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of them. There was Springer, obviously, Ricky Lake, Sarah Jesse Raphael. Anyway, Montel stood out, in my opinion.
Montel, he was a star.
Yeah.
And Maury.
Oh, yeah.
You are not.
Oh, that was great.
What a bit. I think that was like a rare, like once a week or like once every 2 weeks kind of thing. And then they were just like, well, this is the show.
Yeah.
This is the best.
It's paternity.
My parents would get so pissed when I would watch Jerry Springer, because I feel like they just like couldn't deal with like something so trashy.
Yeah.
Just like in our lives. It was such a disgusting
My
show.
house. Sorry, please.
No, I loved that. The bottom right throughout all those shows, the bottom right, like the tagline for the episode, rarely had anything to do with what was actually happening. You'd be like, she thinks her sister fucked a fish. Yeah. And it's like there's a paternity test, and it's like that. Why is this the title of the episode?
They bring in an expert from the fish and game department, and my housekeeper growing up would love watching all of these shows. She would watch Ricky Lake, she would watch Montel, all this stuff, and then I asked her about Jerry Springer, and she's like, "That's trash." I was like, all right.
Just a subtle reminder that Ben grew up wealthy. Let's continue.
We had some gorillas in the garage, let's just say.
All right. So on February 9th, 2005, on the first anniversary of Maura's disappearance, a service was held near where the car was found. And so she had her memorial service. That's a tough year. Anyway, let's see. In late 2005, Fred Murray filed suit against several law enforcement agencies with the aim of seeing files in the case, because they were keeping some things to themselves. So on November 1st, 2005, a user named Tom Davies logged into a message board called Not Without Peril, so probably like a Reddit thread about this case, which was dedicated to the discussion of Murray's disappearance, and claimed to have seen a black backpack behind a restroom at, Pemigewasset Overlook.
Okay.
Over 30 miles
right
east.
near Kangamagas Highway.
Yep.
No.
Okay, yeah, Kangamagas Pass is right there. Oh, and the CL Gramwang and Overlook.
CL Gramway. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the DL Gramway.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Right. CL is good too.
CL's good too. Yes.
So the attorney general at the time, Jeffrey Strelzin, stated that the law enforcement was, quote, aware of the backpack, but didn't disclose whether or not it had been taken for forensic testing. Let's go, people. Let's go. Anyway. So the New Hampshire League of Investigations investigators had 10 retired police officers and detectives that were searching for her in 2006. So there's like all these retired people that are obsessed with this case and they want to find this girl. And so as part of the Molly Bish Foundation, which is another one that we should do. This is a girl who went missing in Massachusetts that was started in...
We love Massachusetts cases.
Yeah, we do.
God forbid we did a middle of America crime,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Sun
we
Belt.
Yeah,
love
we
Massachusetts.
It's
love
not like there's
Massachusetts.
one leg of the tripod that happens to.
Are they more interesting? Yes. So basically, the chief of Licensed Private Detectives Association of Massachusetts, said it appears that there is something beyond a mere missing persons case here. Something ominous could have happened. Yeah, well, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, this could have been a crime.
Whoa! Didn't see that.
This whole thing
coming.
is kind of depressing.
Yeah. We have reason to believe this girl has disappeared.
Okay, so this is interesting. So October 2006, volunteers led a 2-day search within a few miles of where Maura's car was found. In the closet of an A-frame house. You know those houses? They're like...
I don't know what that means.
An A-frame house is...
Teepee?
It's like it's like teepee shaped, but they're actually really pretty, and they're like usually made out of wood. Like it's for like really snowy places. The snow slides off and your roof doesn't get fucked.
Right.
And there's like really beautiful A-frame houses. So I don't know if this was a really nice one or a really shit one, but
Something about everything we've learned about this case tells me
yeah,
not an Airbnb one.
It's a lowercase a.
There's a lot of Corollas in the parking
they
lot.
wish.
Okay. So in the closet of the A-frame house, approximately 1 mile from the crash site, cadaver dogs, so dogs that sniff out dead bodies, allegedly went, quote, bonkers, possibly identifying the presence of human remains. The house had formerly been the residence of the man implicated by his brother. So the guy that said this knife is the one that killed Maura.
Uh-huh. Damn.
Yep.
like
So a sample of the carpet from the home was sent to the New Hampshire State Police, but the results were never released to the public.
Oh, come on.
Come on. July 2008, volunteers led another 2-day search through the wooded areas in Haverhill, and the group consisted of dog teams and licensed private investigators. But I'm like, so whatever happened with that fucking house?
Boy, nobody does shit with the... I think I saw that... something about that I kept coming across, and I don't know if you can back this up, Ben, is like they... like Fred and his PIs would find something like a piece of carpet, and they would send it in for them to test it, and they wouldn't test it.
Right.
Or they wouldn't
Right.
release
Yes.
it. Or they sent in a fucking soil that was like maybe somebody was buried here, and they sent it in, and the cops were like, okay, thanks. And then it never followed up.
I'm like, what if New Hampshire could pour? They can't afford the testing?
Yeah. Or, you know what? When I was hearing it, it was in the back of my mind, and now that's saying it out loud. Is it possible the police had something to do with it?
Very possible,
Like
especially
a state
because
trooper kind of concept
Yeah.
where they're in on some sort of trafficking or...
I think
Yeah.
that's possible, but I also would say that I don't even know if we have to go that far, and just to the extent of like the police just wanting to not bother going further with it. I don't mean like laziness or anything
Yeah.
like that, but just like wrapping it up because it's a lot
like
more.
They're bringing negative attention on our town, and we don't want that. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's New
That's
Hampshire.
how they speak in New
Yeah,
Hampshire.
that's New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You in New Hampshire, boy. But here's the thing. Also, a small town like this, if this is a cop, you know, that could be his cousin Ralph that lives in the A-frame house, and
Right.
he doesn't want to implicate Ralph.
Or something like that. Right,
Yeah,
right,
Right,
exactly.
ugh, God. Yeah, I don't know. So Fred Murray publicly criticized in 2010 the police investigation for treating the disappearance as a missing persons case and not a criminal matter. I agree, Fred. And he called on the FBI to join into the investigation. And the investigation's still active. We don't know if this is what Jeffrey Strelzin said. He said, who is, I believe, the district attorney. We don't know if Maura is a victim, but the state is treating it as a potential homicide. It's a homicide.
Yeah.
It may be a missing persons case, but it is being handled as a criminal investigation. All right, we'll handle it better then.
We could also have a Gone Girl situation here. Just a perfectly planned and executed disappearance.
Yeah.
It's possible, but don't you have to assume crime? Don't you have to err on the side of it's a crime as opposed to
It sounds
missing
like
person?
these people err on the side of she just wanted to leave.
Right, exactly.
And like there's the tandem theory that somebody was driving with. You want to get into theories?
Sure, yeah, let's get into theories.
Well,
so,
I was also going to say it could. I guess it's
go
theories.
ahead.
No, I was going to say that it also could be a combination of the two. It could be
Right.
that she was going away for some reason.
And just the terrible luck that in that she was walking up the street trying
Yeah.
to get away from this. She was maybe a little tipsy, didn't want to get arrested for drunk driving. She was just figuring things out.
Yeah.
And in that split second, somebody
took her.
snagged her.
Yep.
Wow. There's no lights. There's not a lot of street lights. Yeah. So the first theory is the A-frame house. I kind of tend to go with that. I think something stinks with that A-frame house.
Agreed.
It makes more sense to be quickly grabbed if once somebody who was already there did it.
And knows the situation
And is
and
kind
knows
of
like
watching.
the area.
It's one of those houses in the show where the POV from behind the window and they're watching. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Real creepy shit.
Real creepy.
Real creepy.
Also, I didn't mention this, but the new owners, once the police got there and started testing things, there was new owners, and
Yeah.
they had already swapped out all of the carpets and shit. So that fucking sucks because they could have been able to test it back when that guy that the brother said did it was
Yeah.
living there, but the new owners came in, they ripped it out probably because they were like, "Well, this thing is bloodstained."
Yeah, I don't hold it against the new owners. They're like, that's blood. So
Yeah.
we're going to have to get some new carpet in here.
Did a kid have a litter in here? Okay, so that's the A-frame house. Theory number 2, tandem driver. Did you just fuck off into Canada? So
Okay.
many internet sleuths. There's a ton. Like if you guys really want to go down a rabbit hole, there's so many Reddit threads. People are having fun at the expense of this woman.
Right.
And but anyway, so people think that maybe she's just like straight up living in Canada under a different identity.
But whose car did she use?
So there's the idea that she was meeting up with someone, or there was a plan for another car. She was following another car that she had met up with.
Yes. Okay, I
That
do
she was
remember
like
that
following
theory.
behind another car. Maybe that person noticed that she was no longer behind them, turned around, picked her up, and just kept going.
So this was a plot with another person. Yes.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, maybe she had that much alcohol because she was going with somebody. There are reports of sometimes there was a woman with a yellow jacket, and then somebody
Right.
else was like she had two women with
She had
her,
a different,
and,
and also the different jacket inside.
different colored
that-
here at some
Yeah.
point. So it's like maybe it was
I don't know. So
muddy waters.
okay, so I saw another one that said that she was pregnant and she was protecting herself from her baby, or from having the baby, and because maybe it wasn't her boyfriend's. I don't fucking know. That makes no sense to me whatsoever because she had birth control in her
right.
car.
She birthed each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a little late for that. Mo.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is we didn't really talk about the cheating. He cheated on her with somebody from West Point, and she was having an affair with her coach at college,
Right.
but not at the time. It said maybe she had already had an affair.
Yeah, I
with
think she had. Yeah.
someone like that, Olympic grade, attractive, always had a lot of pressure on her. They act out. Someone, just maybe they just break and want to fuck off. She gets a call from her sister. It's like, I'm off the wagon. She's crashed her dad's car. She's not feeling this semester at school. I would like to leave.
I
Yeah.
buy all that, but would you disappear for 16 years? I feel like that's the kind of thing where after a few years you'd be like, all right, I'm coming back.
Or just commit to the
Yeah.
bit at that point because it's got so much fucking attention.
And just never speak to your family again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
that's tough. Selfish.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, an anonymous email alleged that she was escaping her harmful relationship. So, more than a decade after Maura's disappearance, a number of people, including web sleuths and New England locals, are still chiming in on the case. In 2006, crime writer and TBH sounds like a fucking asshole and a kook. So don't take this with a grain of salt. James Renner, he seems like a dick, but he claimed.
Please tell us what he said.
Okay, so he claimed.
But just keep in mind that the
Yeah.
guy is
Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Don't believe anything I say from here on out.
But he had no evidence of this whatsoever. He was like, I received an email by someone in Maura's inner circle. I'm like, or are you just trying to get eyes on you, you stupid
Fucking
ass?
hack.
So he
Renner.
says that the anonymous sender alleged alleged that they spoke to someone in a bar who heard a different story of different version of Maura's disappearance. The email read in part that he started talking to me about a missing girl who had gone to West Point and then to UMass. I hadn't heard about it at the time, please. And he explained to me what I now know is the Maura Murray case. He told me that it was an open secret among people who knew her personally at UMass that she ran off on her own to get away from her abusive relationship. And he said that he knew people that knew her and that had been in on the whole thing.
What?
Yeah. He has he says a lot of crazy claims.
Why would people also, if you had this insider information, you're texting James Renner about it?
Right.
No. Call an adult.
Right.
No.
Well, apparently Maura's boyfriend has gone crazy on him on social media because he's like, you're ruining my fucking life. You're spreading
that's terrible.
Vicious rumors about an incredibly painful moment in my life.
For sure.
He's a terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so died in the woods. I thought that was pretty plausible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they did all that search and rescue. They would have found her. Cadaver dogs,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was also this video that I found online that was posted, and it was from on February 8th, 2012, 7 years to the day after almost to the day of Maura's disappearance on Route 112. An account named 112 Dirtbag posted a video of an anonymous man laughing maniacally from the shadows.
Oh, God.
Why does it have to do with this?
So Murray's father referred to her alleged kidnappers because he was like, it must be some dirtbags. So 112 Dirtbag, Route 112 Dirtbag. And then he's just like laughing maniacally in the shadows.
He just posted that.
So he's like taunting that this would be the guy, and he's taunting.
That's what people are alleging.
Okay.
This is like super conspiracy theory kind of stuff.
People on the internet do shit like this, though. Perverts that just want to, you know what I mean? Redditors.
Yeah, they really do. So the creator of the video was never identified, but her dad has really never stopped talking about it. Yeah. He's like, who is this fucking person? Because they're fucking with us, I think.
Of course.
Okay, so, you've read the most about this, listened to podcasts, read the story. Mm-hmm. You know what? She had a normal life, so she had a good life, but also maybe some bad things. Family had some turmoil, divorced parents, a mom that probably wasn't in the picture, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. Just totaled her dad's car. A boyfriend that, everyone thought they were doing well, but maybe they weren't doing that great.
Yeah.
Maybe a little stressed. Had already kind of run away from school once.
This is my theory. I think that her behavior leading up to it was so erratic and crazy. She might have had an undiagnosed bipolar disorder or something. And then I think the A-frame house has something to do with it. I think it was a wrong place, wrong time. She was, fucking off in this weird adventure she wanted to go on. And maybe she wanted to do an Into the Wild type deal because she was in some manic state. And then she got grabbed. That A-frame house, they killed her in there. That's what I think.
Well, it sounds like they killed somebody.
They killed somebody, if not her.
Yeah, I definitely think some sort of foul play thing must have come into effect at some point. Otherwise, the whole idea that there was that she was in on it with another person, that there was a car in front of her, for some reason that doesn't add up to me. It seems a little too planned. I think that the fact that she just hit the road, she had incentive to do that. Just like you said, there was a lot of bad shit going on.
Just wanted a breather. She seemed like she tended to be a little dramatic.
She also brought her books.
She brought her books.
She
brought her books. Also, I don't like when stuff not that I don't like it, but they have gone over literally every single tiny aspect that they've tried to. They've made so many things that maybe aren't significant at all a bigger deal than it is. She printed out an email. She was all packed up. Maybe she wasn't unpacked. Maybe the email was just. She just printed out an email. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff that might not be that. She took out all of her money. It was $280.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's also random stuff where it's the woman at the gas station who claims to have seen her afterwards with a man, and she was looked upset. A woman that looked like Maura Murray, that she made eye contact, and the girl mouthed, "Help me."
Right.
Is that true? It's
I think people see things like that when they're obsessed with the case. You know what I mean?
But this seemed to be right after it happened, closer to it. Not if I was I was at Starbucks earlier and I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was it was more it was a gas station not too long after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So where are you leaning?
I don't know. I really, I texted you guys every single time. I'm okay, well then maybe this is what happened. It takes another right turn. And that's part of the reason why it's like you don't know what is the important facts and what's not.
Right.
Everything adds up. Everything adds up to what Ben's saying and the fact that I think she just wanted to disappear for a little bit and didn't want to talk to anybody about it and just wanted to go on a vacation. She had done it in the past. It's normal to lie to your professors and be like, the death in my family.
True.
It's normal to act out a bit. It's normal to have a little drinky do. It's not responsible, especially while driving. It's a bad idea.
Right.
But
and the fact that she had a good amount of alcohol, I mean, maybe she was planning on doing it for a few days. Like, I don't
what else
Yeah.
the fuck do you do in New Hampshire and Vermont? That's what you
Yeah.
do. You go to these houses, it's snowing, and you drink alone.
Yeah, you ski.
One person though, I don't know. I mean, that's a lot
People
of
in Vermont, they're usually
Well, it depends
doing
how
way
long
things
she's
worse
thinking
than
of staying.
booze, let me tell you that. That's
yeah,
true.
I don't know.
She clearly wasn't a happy girl at this time.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
But it probably was. There was some other element.
I mean, can I say aliens?
Oh! I'm glad she said it. Supernatural elements as well.
Supernatural.
Was she possessed? Was there a chupacabra? Like some sort of hill monster that grabbed her? Maybe an alien situation. It could have been an alien situation where she just got snagged.
Yeah. That
Did
makes
the
like
alien
more sense
snag
than anything
her
else.
from Amherst?
No, they
From
snagged her
From the road.
Oh, I'm being ridiculous. Oh, got it. Yeah.
Oh, see how he just kind of tries to delegitimize it.
Yeah, make the aliens something that we can't actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What
Yeah.
do you want to consider?
Could be
It
aliens.
is one of the better explanations. I'm not going to
Could be
lie
a
on this
ghost.
Could be a ghost.
I don't know how that makes.
What if she just ceased to exist?
one. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Does it? Okay.
How does the
That house theory is upsetting.
I think she got killed
That's
in the
the
house.
worst fear, though, and that's a movie plot point,
Mm-hmm.
a thriller. You know, it starts with the young girl getting into a little accident
Yeah.
on this random road, and then she just gets taken when she gets out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it is a throw off where she's like, some creepy guy offers to help her. He actually wasn't creepy. He was really just trying to help, and she's like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
And then somebody else offers to pick her up. And that person is actually a crazy person, terrible. And that's what also, like, there was that random theory about like three guys that weren't in work the next day, 3 younger guys.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
This was mentioned on a podcast that like 3 guys. It was a bit of a far fetched, but this is internet sleuths. 3 guys that worked at some blue collar job, not too far away, not that bad, and they hadn't gone to work. And I guess the theory was that like those 3 guys kidnapped her.
Okay.
Like they had been driving past that area
Oh.
and they had kidnapped her because she was more likely to go with somebody more around her own age that offered to help. And weirdly, I don't know why, but like a group is more trustworthy than one person.
Yeah, because
On a dark road.
I would imagine that like me and like one guy, I'd be like, this guy's gonna murder me.
Yeah.
But me and I'm like, they're not gonna murder me in front of their friends. But
Think
I'm like,
about-
why wouldn't
you know how many
all 3 of them
stories
be in it?
I know of like from college of like girls that are drunk, they just get taken home from the bar because they're
Yeah.
walking and
Yeah.
somebody stops and they're very lucky that it wasn't a kidnap. I've done it. Of the group of 3 of us, we got into a stranger's car and they took us home.
What? I never went to a stranger's car.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow,
I never
that's,
had that.
yeah,
Oh, grow up.
that's- shouldn't be doing that, Max.
I know. I don't do it anymore.
Do not hitchhike, people.
I don't know, and this is why I'm upset because you don't even know what the end game
Yeah,
was.
I have no closure on this
Yeah,
one.
me neither. It's safe to say we were had. I think everyone's been had for quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was a long one.
Yeah.
There's just so much. I mean, there's so
How long
much to
were we
talk about.
recording for?
Hour 12.
Hour 12 is our
Jesus.
longest one by far.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
So you're telling me. I just read like a
The
novel.
real victim of all of this is me for being so fatigued.
I am tired.
I need more cold brew, which is in my fridge.
All right, let's go get some cold brew.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.